Hi everyone, welcome to the session dedicated to ethics for quantum computing. We will go through the different aspects of ethics in the technological environment. Quantum information technologies, covering quantum computing, quantum communication, and quantum sensing, are among the most significant technologies to emerge in recent decades, offering the promise of paradigm shifting computational capacity with significant ethical consequences. On the technical level, the unique features of quantum information processing have consequences for the imposition of fairness and ethical constraints on computation. It may seem too early to worry about the ethical implication of quantum computing, given the lack of evolution as to when it will see widespread use of quantum computing. However, now is a perfect time. Consider how quickly machine learning was embedded into business processes before most understood how damaging it could be to an organization, customer, and reputation. Without a top down mandate for ethical development of quantum computing, technologists might meet business objectives, but their creations could lead to unintended ethical fraud consequences. We can situate quantum ethics at the cross disciplinary intersection of quantum information science, technology ethics, and moral philosophy to assess the impact of this incoming emerging technology. The four areas that we are going to high level explore is safety, security, privacy, and fairness. The development of public key cryptographies is in the 70s, and it was revolutionary, enabling new ways of communicating securely. However, public key algorithms are vulnerable to quantum attacks because they derive their strength from the difficulties of solving discrete log problem or factoring large integers. As discovered by mathematician Peter Shor, these type of problems can be solved very quickly using a sufficiently strong quantum computer. So in the case of asymmetric or public key cryptography, we need new math that will stand up to quantum attacks because today's public key algorithms will be completely broken. Grover's algorithm from the scientist Love Grover is a quantum search algorithm. Using Grover's algorithm, some symmetric algorithms are impacted and some are broken. Key size and message digest size are important consideration that will factor into whether an algorithm is quantum safe or not. For example, use of an advanced encryption standard AES with 256-bit keys is considered quantum safe, but triple DES can be broken no matter the key size. And that is true for symmetric algorithms that usually are utilized by the banking industry, or the asymmetric algorithms used for public key and private key, for instance, automotive connected cars for vehicle to everything type of communications, will be easily broken. It must be first noted that publicly crypto system work against classical computing attacks, and has been traditionally estimated through a so-called bits of security level. Such a level is defined as the effort required by a classical computer to perform a brute force attack. For instance, an asymmetric crypto system has a 1024-bit security when the effort required to attack it with a classical computer is similar to the one needed to carry out a brute force attack on 1024-bit cryptography key. As a reference in the table here in the chart, the table indicates the security level of some of the most popular symmetric and asymmetric crypto systems. The cost of breaking current 80-bit security crypto system with classical computers is estimated to be between tens of thousands and hundreds of millions of dollars. In the case of 112-bit crypto system, they are considered to be secure to classical computer attacks for the next 30-40 years. However, researchers have determined that 160-bit elliptic curves can be broken with a 1000 qubit quantum computer, while a 1024-bit RSA will need roughly 2000 qubits. Such a threat affects not only crypto systems that rely on integer factorization or elliptic curves, but also others based on problems like the discrete logarithm problem, which can be solved fast through the Shor's algorithm. An example is blockchain and also other distributed ledger technologies have evolved significantly in the last years, and their use has been suggested for numerous applications due to their ability to provide transparency, redundancy, accountability, and so on. In the case of blockchain, such characteristics are provided through public key cryptography and hash functions. However, the fast progress of quantum computing has opened the possibility of performing attacks based on Grover's and Shor's algorithms in the near future. Such algorithms threaten both public key cryptography and hash functions, forcing to redesign blockchains to make use of crypto systems that withstand quantum attacks, thus creating which are known as post-quantum, quantum proof, quantum safe, quantum resistant crypto systems. For such a purpose, there are several studies going on to set the state of the art on post-quantum crypto systems and how they can apply to blockchains and DTL. A definition of quantum safe cryptography is important. I take as example the one of European Telecommunication Standard Institute. It's not the only one. Cryptography helps to provide security for many everyday tasks. When you send an email, make an online purchase, or make a withdrawal from an ATM machine, cryptography helps keep your data private and authenticate your identity. Today's modern cryptography algorithms derive their strength from the difficulties of solving certain math problems using classical computers, or the difficulty of searching for the right secret key or message. Quantum computers, however, work in a fundamentally different way. Solving a problem that might take millions of years on a classical computer could take hours or minutes on a sufficiently large quantum computer, which will have a significant impact on the encryption, hashing, and public key algorithms we are using today. This is where quantum safe cryptography comes in. Quantum safe cryptography refers to efforts to identify algorithms that are resistant to attacks by both classical and quantum computers to keep information assets secure even after a larger scale quantum computer has been built. The picture over here out of the white paper number 8 of the European Telecommunication Standard Institute shows that without specific action in 2025, the quantum computing techniques will be in condition to expose exponentially the risk for the current cryptography solutions. Just a shot on a study running in this moment on the Cambridge Quantum Institute that is delivering a quantum cryptography based on the quantum physics, moving from math into physics, using photons to transmit over fiber optics wires the binary keys through specific polarizations. The properties of quantum mechanics, particles can exist in more than one place or state at the same time. A quantum property cannot be observed without changing or disturbing it. Whole particles cannot be copied, allows to create a sort of cryptography that if a third party between two communicating, intervening, changes or disturbs the communication, and that is easily evident first, and modify the communication so practically is impossible for a third party to intervene. It's just a flash, just to show how the things are evolving rapidly in a different path also for cryptography. Let's take a look now on, for instance, what NIST, the US Institute of Standards and Technology, is working. In this moment, they have launched a challenge to provide solutions, and they have selected 4 solutions for general encryption and for digital signature. The algorithms are designed, the selected one, for 2 main tasks for which encryption is typically used. General encryption is used to protect information exchanged across a public network, and digital signature instead is used for identity authentication, just to summarize. All 4 of the algorithms were created by experts collaborating with multiple countries and institutions. For general encryption, used when we access secure websites, NIST has selected the Crystal Kyber. Among its advantages are comparatively small encryption keys that 2 parties can exchange easily, as well as its speed of operation. For digital signature, often used when we need to verify identities during a digital transaction or to sign a document remotely, NIST has selected the 3 algorithms: Crystal Dilithium, Falcon, and Sphinx Plus. Reviewers noted that the high efficiency of the first 2, and NIST recommends Crystal's Dilithium as the primary algorithm, with Falcon for applications that need smaller signature than Dilithium can provide. The third, Sphinx Plus, is somewhat larger and slower than the other 2, but is valuable as a backup for one main reason. It is based on a different math that than all three of NIST's order selection use. Three of the selected algorithms are based on a family of math problems called structure lattices, while Sphinx Plus uses hash functions. There are other algorithms still under consideration that are designed for general encryption and do not use structure lattices or hash function in their approaches. While the standard is in development, NIST encourages security experts to explore the new algorithms and consider how their application will use them, but not to bake them into the system yet, as the algorithms could change slightly before the standard is finalized. Every organization, though, should prepare to this evolution. This chart shows a suggestion out of the IBM introduction to Quantum Safe, for instance. So not only public or government organizations are working on it, suggesting customer or suggesting users to prepare themselves to the quantum computer arrival. For instance, when meeting with clients getting started on their journey to quantum safety, IBM shares a few of the key milestones to help them to get ready to adopt new quantum safe standards. First, discover and classify data. The first step involves classifying the value of data and understanding compliance requirements. This helps to create a data inventory. Then, the creation of a crypto inventory, because once you have classified your data, you will need to identify how your data is encrypted, as well as other uses of cryptography to create a crypto environment that will help you during your migration plan. Your crypto inventory will include information like encryption protocols, symmetric and asymmetric algorithms, key length, crypto providers, and so on. The third step is to embrace a so-called crypto agility. The transition to quantum safe standards will be a multi-year journey as standards evolve and vendors move to adopt quantum safe technology. Use a flexible approach and be prepared to make replacements is key. So it's necessary to implement a hybrid approach as recommended by several industry experts by using both classical and quantum safe cryptographic algorithms. This maintains compliance with current standards while adding quantum safe protection. We have time to implement quantum safe solution before the advent of large-scale quantum computers, but not much time. Moving to new cryptography is complex and will require significant time and investment. We don't know when a large-scale quantum computer capable of breaking public key cryptography algorithms will be available. Experts predict that could be possible by the end of this decade. Honestly, IBM has just released a pay-as-you-go cloud-based quantum capability at 125 qubits, which starts to be a significant capability. So we can expect to rapidly evolve into a much larger quantum computing available to everybody. Let's move now into a different type of ethical concern: the distribution of computer power. The benefits that could come with the power of quantum computing are frequently discussed. The power of quantum computing can be leveraged for bad purposes as well as good. And even when organizations have the best intention, there are potential downsides that must be considered. For instance, the access. It is unlikely a typical person or smaller company will ever own a quantum computer due to their physical and technical complexity. But that doesn't mean they can't benefit. Governments and organizations, we have seen IBM, that want to move everyone along the technology adoption curve in an equitable way should think about how to share knowledge of quantum computers. They have a range of mechanisms at their disposal. Government can include grants, subsidies, and other policies that can accelerate access if society decides it is important. Life science and healthcare. Quantum computers are expected to play a significant role in gene editing by helping biological researchers understand the effects of genetic changes. Gene editing on its own is controversial, but quantum computing could ramp up research by enabling faster forms of research. This doesn't mean that DNA editing should be avoided. It could eliminate many genetic diseases and have other benefits. But researcher should remain vigilant to any potential unintended consequences of their work. Let's move in a different things and consider that the global tension and the quantum arms race is facing. Most industrialized countries today are investing heavily in the development of quantum technology. China, India, Japan, Germany, the Netherlands, Canada, and the United States alone has spent more than 5 billion on quantum technology in 2022, all combined. The situation is sometimes referred to as new global arms race, as quantum computing is seen as critical to future defense technologies. However, positioning efforts to develop quantum capabilities as an arms race could have the unintended consequence of increased tensions between nations. The bias and the fairness. Due to the beyond classical capability of quantum computing, quantum machine learning is applied independently or embedded in classical models for decision making, especially in the field of finance. Fairness and other ethical issues are often one of the main concerns in decision making. We need to define a formal framework for the fairness verification and analysis of quantum machine learning decision models, where we adopt one of the most popular notion of fairness in the literature based on the intuition. Any two similar individuals must be treated similarly and are, therefore, systems are unbiased. Quantum noise can improve fairness and develop an algorithm to check whether a quantum machine learning model is fair. In particular, there are algorithms that can find biased kernels of quantum data during the checking. These biased kernels generates infinitely many bias pairs for investigating the unfairness of the model. For example, Google has algorithms designed based on a highly efficient data structure, the tensor networks, and implemented on a Google's TensorFlow Quantum. The utility and effectiveness of those algorithms are confirmed by the experimental results, including income prediction, and credit scoring on real-world data for a class of random quantum decision model with just 27-qubit dimensional state, tripling that of the state-of-the-art algorithms for verifying quantum machine learning models. As discussed, in an important issue in classical machine learning is how fair is the decision made by machines. The same issues exist for quantum machine learning. You may see that the fairness of quantum decision model is to treat all input states equally. In example, there is not a pair of two close input states that has a large difference between their corresponding outcomes. The bias can impact the performances. Algorithms are increasingly engaged in economically important decisions. They are used to make decisions regarding sentences in criminal courts, resume screening, pricing, advertising placement, lending decision, and the news in the media that citizens consume. This development has generated a public debate about bias and unfairness in machine-guided decisions, including several high-profile allegations in finance, criminal sentencing, hiring, and advertising targeting, and so on. Fairness concerns have resonated with policymakers in multiple countries who have adopted or are considering fairness-related regulations for algorithms. We will see later on the European approach on that. But the biases are also in data. When training a quantum system, there can be potential biases in the data used, which can impact the performance and fairness of this system. For instance, sample bias. If the training data used for quantum systems is not representative of the diverse range of inputs of scenarios that the system may encounter in the real world, it can result in biased outcomes. For example, if the training data predominantly represents a particular demographic or specific experimental conditions, the system may not generalize well to other groups or situations. The labeling bias typical of machine learning. The process of labeling data for training quantum system can introduce biases. Human annotators may unintentionally label data based on their own perspective or preconception, leading to biased training sets. This can result in unfair or discriminatory outcomes when the system is applied to real-world situations. And we should consider also the historical bias. If the training data reflects historical biases and inequities, the quantum system may, without us knowing, learn and perpetuate those biases. For instance, if historical data exhibits disparities in representation or opportunities for certain groups, the trained system may reproduce or amplify such biases, leading to discriminatory outcomes. To prevent perpetuating biases and inequities, it is crucial to promote diverse and inclusive development processes. Therefore, the suggestion is to, through the so-called representation, includes diverse practices and voices in the development of quantum systems. That helps in capturing a broader range of experiences and reducing, not eliminating, bias. Diverse teams can identify and rectify biases in the training data, improving fairness and equity in the system performance. Ethical guidelines, establishing ethical guidelines and principles during the development process ensures that biases and inequities are actively addressed. These guidelines should promote fairness, transparency, accountability, and should be followed throughout the system design, training, and deployment stages. They cannot, should be defined by any organization internally for quantum activities, also artificial intelligence activities, but let's stay in quantum. Data collection. Collecting a diverse and inclusive data set that adequately represents the target population is vital. It is essential to consider factors like demographic diversity, social economic backgrounds, and regional variation to ensure the system is trained on a comprehensive and unbiased dataset. Bias detection and mitigation, what is regularly assessing the quantum system for bias and developing techniques to mitigate them is crucial. This can involve techniques such as fairness-aware learning, debiasing algorithm, or including fairness metric during the evaluation process. We shouldn't forget external review and auditing. Encouraging external reviews and audits of quantum system helps in identifying and rectifying biases. Independent scrutiny ensures that the system is evaluated from multiple perspectives and can help mitigate any biases or unfairness that may have been missed during the development process. In summary, diverse and inclusive development are necessary to prevent the perpetuation of biases and inequities in quantum systems. Exist risks that are exacerbating by the utilization of quantum. Data harvesting and privacy. In the past several years, there have been major pushes to protect data privacy and ensure artificial intelligence technologies are being used fairly and in a ways that benefit the public. Despite these efforts, rampant data collection still takes place. Since future quantum computers will be able to process large volumes of data more rapidly than today's most sophisticated servers, the availability of quantum computing could further incentivize organizations to collect even more consumer data, therefore supercharging the data harvesting that already takes place. But I'm key on explainability. Quantum computers, and especially quantum machine learning, presents the ultimate black box problem. Machine learning developers are familiar with this issue, and deep learning neural networks are notoriously opaque. With quantum computers, explainability is more of a physics problem than a programming problem. It will be difficult to evaluate and judge the decision-making process of quantum algorithms because they will recognize even more complex patterns across even more data points than today's machine learning models. Environmentally, we have also to consider that all these things we are speaking in this moment are bringing effects. In particular, quantum computers have the potential to revolutionize computing capabilities, but they also come with significant energy requirements and potential environmental impacts. In this chart, there is an overview of the energy requirements. Quantum computers operate at extremely low temperatures to maintain the delicate quantum states of their qubits. Cooling systems, such as cryogenic refrigerators, are necessary to achieve and maintain this low temperature. The cooling process itself consumes significant amount of energy. Additionally, the computational operation performed by quantum computers can be energy intensive, depending on the hardware architecture, on the complexity of the algorithms being executed. There is an environmental impact. The energy consumption of quantum computers can have environmental implications primarily through greenhouse gas emission and contributions to climate change. The energy generation required to power quantum computing facilities can rely on non-renewable sources like fossil fuels, which release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases when burned. Moreover, the manufacturing processes for quantum computing may also have environmental impacts due to the extraction and processing of raw materials as well as waste generation. It is important to know that the quantum computers are still in the early stages of development and their energy efficiency is not yet on par with classical computers. Classical computers, which power most of our current computational infrastructure, have benefited from decades of optimization and advancements in energy efficiency. Quantum computers have a long way to go in terms of reducing their energy requirements and possibly improving their energy efficiency to become more sustainable. So to mitigate that, we can pursue several strategies. Energy efficiency research, continued research and development efforts should focus on improving the energy efficiency of quantum computing. This includes optimizing the design, the architecture of hardware components, reducing the energy required for cooling, and developing more efficient algorithms to minimize computational operations. Renewable energy integration. Promoting the use of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power to meet the energy demands for quantum computing can significantly reduce the environmental impact. Investing in renewable energy infrastructure ensures that the energy consumed by quantum computers comes from sustainable sources. But life cycle assessment, conducting comprehensive life cycle assessment of quantum computing can help identify and mitigate environmental impacts. This assessment should consider not only the energy consumption during operation, but also the energy and the resource required during manufacturing, transportation, disposal of the hardware, and so on. That is bringing to a circular economy, implementing recycle and waste management for quantum computing hardware can minimize the environmental impact associated with their production and disposal. Emphasizing a circular economy approach can promote the reuse and recycling of material, reducing the need for raw material extraction, and minimize waste generation. Of course, policies and standards are relevant because government and regulatory bodies can play a crucial role in promoting sustainable practices in the development and operation for quantum computing, implementing energy efficiency standards, incentivizing the use of renewable energy, and supporting research and development for sustainable quantum technologies that can have a significant positive impact. Addressing the energy requirements and environmental impact of quantum computers is essential for their long-term viability and adoption. By focusing on energy efficiency, renewable energy integration, life cycle assessment, recycling, and policy initiative, we can work toward ensuring that quantum computing technology align with global sustainability goals. Let's speak briefly on the ethical framework out of the European Artificial Intelligence Act that has been approved on the 15th of June by the European community, and now is in process to be adopted by the different countries in Europe, probably before the end of the year. Is focusing on artificial intelligence, but will have effects also in quantum computing use for specifically application. The goal is to enable Europe to lead a correct approach to any kind of artificial intelligence and identify prohibited high-risk areas that need to be monitored and should be regulated to avoid conflicts and legal problems. In addition, we want to protect the rights of European citizens where laws are generally stricter and more restrictive than, for instance, in United States or elsewhere. There is a clear difficulty in regulating technological changes. The risk of obsolescence, given the speed of technology innovation is high. A very well prepared flowchart that describes all the effects of this act, including a portion that can be applied for quantum computing, is in a flowchart published by Burgess and Salmon. I put over here the reference. I would suggest for people interested to go through that. For us, we stay in this session just on the not admitted activities, which are protecting one of the things we have mentioned at the beginning, mainly the privacy and the fairness of the application of technology. Therefore, real-time remote biometric identification system in public accessible spaces is not admitted. Post-remote biometric identification system as well. Categorization based on biometric using sensitive characteristics, gender, race, ethnicity, and so on, are forbidden. Even predictive policing system based on profiling, location, or past criminal behavior. Emotion recognition system in law enforcement, border management, workplace, and educational institution. And we should not forget the indiscriminate scraping of biometric data from social media. All these things are not admitted. Of course, the use of quantum computing may reinforce this kind of activity, so the influence on quantum computing is evident. I will recall also the path of the so-called Rome call for artificial intelligence ethics, but in reality is referring to all the technology. Several scientists in 2022, philosopher, theologian, and bioethics worked out progressively identifying 3 areas ethics, education, and right, where technology should be in some way monitored, and sixth principle: transparency, inclusion, accountability, impartiality, reliability, security, and privacy. And in November 2022, they met again all together in a workshop called Converging on the Person: Emerging Technologies for the Common Good, that is called the Rome Treaty. There is a clear awareness of the critic situation of our relationship as a human being with new technologies, and the warning that the technological form of human experience is becoming more pervasive every day. In the distinction between natural and artificial, biological and technological, the criteria by which to discern what is human and technique become more and more difficult. The question is cultural. It is necessary to reaffirm the importance of the concept of personal conscience as a relational experience, which cannot disregard either corporality or culture. In other words, in the network of relationship, both subjective and community, technology cannot replace human contact. The virtual cannot replace the real, and neither can social media replace the social sphere. Should support, but not replace. And we are tempted to make the virtual prevail over the real. This is an ugly temptation. Also, the Pope worked out with just a sentence that is saying that is good. That technology continues to overcome eminently approaches to contribute to the definition of a new humanism and to encourage mutual listening and mutual understanding between science, technology, and society. The lack of constructive dialogue between these realities, in fact, impoverishes the mutual trust, which is the basis of all human coexistence and of all forms of social friendships. So you want to replace the human being in the middle and not just the race for technology in the middle. And that is the core of ethics, like we have said at the beginning. What we can do as organization, it is important that we manage to maintain a common accord between various elements inside the development of activities, whatever is the organization. And we should, in some way, support the possibility to prevent problem. So every organization is supposed to think about all the different aspects once they are facing a new development that imply the use of new technologies, quantum computing, artificial intelligence. That is the introduction of somebody, let's call them digital ethics officer, that has a large role, because it should cover multiple aspects. Have a deep knowledge and understanding of the company's digital process, clearly identify exposure and ethical risk of projects under development, organize and lead the operational governance for the supervision of the human relationship aspect of artificial intelligence projects, including quantum computing utilization. Because in an organization, whatever it is, human being remains relevant. should be the ethical reference for all digital process, considering the fact that there are so many evolution in regulations, approach, sensibility in the society. Strength, have a more strength in the transversality of the reference and people involved in digital projects, not just the developers. There should be a culture of cooperation and collective decision to obtain co-planning and transparency within the organization. Is a role that should make sensible the organization and advise the different organizational entities of ethical impacts. Possibly define a strategy, ethical strategy, um, develop evaluation and control tools inside the framework of internal and external rules. Eliminate or minimize the ethical risk of digital projects. Integrate and improve the synergy of devices to protect the fundamental rights of consumer and citizen. Organize internal reflection. All the above requires that the digital ethics officer have a great human, scientific, and practical qualities to be able to instill the confidence necessary for the activism and guidance. It's just a suggestion that came out in a workshop I attended as well last year in Dublin. And you may, in this last chart, you may see the challenges that is going to face. Can be one person, more than one person, a team, can be something that is embedded in the way to work of the different people independently, that they are developers or not of technological project, but it should be something that is embedded in the culture of the organization is working on these kind of things. As a conclusion, let's say that we should start preparing today for tomorrow's quantum ethics. The different stakeholders should start thinking through the potential challenges and understand how quantum computing may create ethical risk in the future. There are existing ethical frameworks for understanding the impact of technology, and many of the key considerations are generic to quantum computing and strategy. Enterprises should convene internal leaders and experts to determine trigger events, such as new technological advancement or action by a competitor, that will define the need to act or increase investment. Approaches to ethical risk mitigation should be part of developing a quantum technology strategy. Quantum computing promises to be extremely powerful. Now, is organizations' opportunity to potentially avoid the kind of ethical pitfalls that they move fast and break things are era left behind. We are at the beginning of a journey. It's exciting, but with some risk, as is normal for every trip. So I let you my reference in case you want to contact me to expand better these kind of things. I share that there are several, I mentioned the one I'm collaborating with, organizations no profit that are sensible on ethics, that are working on these kind of things. In particular, I'm advisor in an historical cultural association in Italy that promote and encourage the study of technology and ethical development in the use of that. Specifically for artificial intelligence, in Italy and France is Active Europia, I'm a member of, that is promoting the use of good artificial intelligence. I'm also part of a free association of expertises that support individuals in skill upgrade. I'm in the area of technology. There is also a branch on crafts and arts. That to facilitate people to learn how the new technologies may help in making the life better without risking bad effects. I thank you, all the people that has been patient till now to listen, and I will invite you to expand and follow all this evolution because are really important for the entire society. Thank you again.